We love California, but we love Californians more. 100 languages. At California, we believe every single Californian deserves healthcare that works. So let us haggle. Let us put the confusion. We're not health insurance. We're in it.
Breaking now at 6, one step closer to the hostages being brought home. The potential breakthrough in negotiations between the U.S., Israel, and Hamas.
Sean Combs sentenced to prison, how long he will stay behind bars, and his emotional testimony inside a New York City courtroom today.
But first, a car jumps the curb in front of City Hall. What police and the mayor are saying about this incident.
NBC4 News at 6 starts with breaking news.
And we begin at 6 tonight with that breaking news from LA City Hall, where a car crashed onto the sidewalk and into the steps there. The driver just got out of the car just a few minutes ago, actually within 5 minutes, and was peacefully taken into custody.
Newsstopper 4 had been over the car for about an hour. Police closed off the street in front of City Hall, and Mayor Karen Bass said the building had been evacuated as a precaution. It's still unclear why the driver was there and what led up to the crash.
Now to that breaking news out of the Middle East today, a potential agreement to send Israeli hostages home.
Hamas announcing today it will release all of the hostages, alive or dead, days after the 2-year anniversary of the attack on Israel. It also comes just hours after President Trump set a Sunday deadline for Hamas to accept his 20-point peace plan. The terrorist organization said it will negotiate on the details of the plan through mediators.
NBC4's Conan Nolan joins us live in studio with more on this potential breakthrough. Conan.
That's right. The bombshell announcement came following an ultimatum from President Trump: agree or else. Tonight, the president thanking Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Turkey, Egypt, and Jordan for using their leverage to get what appears to be an agreement to end the war in Gaza.
It was the announcement for which the world had long been waiting. Behind the October 7th attack against Israel and the controlling authority in Gaza agreeing to release all Israeli hostages, living and dead, and that it was willing to hand over the Gaza Strip to an independent body with Palestinian, Arab, and Islamic support. Ago in a posting on Truth Social.
Everybody was unified in wanting this war to end and seeing peace in the Middle East. And we're very close to achieving that.
The breakthrough comes after the president gave the terrorists an ultimatum to accept his peace plan by Sunday evening, or, quote, all hell like no one has seen before will break out against Hamas. Mr. Trump delivered a 20-point peace plan to the Arab leaders at the United Nations, which outlined an end to the war that included return all hostages within 72 hours, and that all fighting would end once both sides agreed to the proposal. Congresswoman Sidney Collier-Duff represents Culver City in South L.A. and is a member of the House Foreign Relations Committee.
A credit should be given to Qatar and Saudi Arabia and all of the Arab nations for leaning in and probably working to help mediate this negotiation so that Hamas would release the hostages and also so that aid can come in.
1,200 Israelis were murdered during the October 7th attack, more than 200 hostages taken. Israel retaliated, and in that time, tens of thousands of Palestinians have died. More than 1 million have been displaced, and thousands are facing a hunger crisis. The conflict having worldwide ramifications, including here at home, with pro-Palestinian encampments at UCLA at one point violently broken up by protesters. Also at USC, where twice the university by force removed encampments. On both campuses, there were episodes of anti-Semitism as Jewish students were targeted for harassment.
There's fights. It's just all extremely hostile.
A bitter episode that may now possibly be in the past.
So many people fought so hard. This is a big day. We'll see how it all turns out.
Also part of this was an apology from Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to the Qatari government. Now remember, Qatar was outraged by a missile attack Israel launched into a neighborhood in Doha on September 9th, targeting Hamas negotiators. President Trump was upset with the airstrike as well, and the prospect of losing American support may have forced Israel into accepting this deal. Now, we still don't know when Israeli troops will leave Gaza. There are lots of elements to this that are still under negotiation, but the fact is we've never been this far.
If you talk about the timeline here, they said hostages might be released within 72 hours. We're talking what, Monday?
Possibly, but again, the effort, I think, and the president made this point in his social media post. You had the Saudi Arabia, you had some of the other instrumental governments surrounding this entire episode who apparently just got tired of this. Qatar certainly leaned in, and I think if there's going to be any kind of effort at making sure they follow it, it's going to come from those countries as well as the United States.
Now, you've been following this story. We all have. How surprised were you that this happened the way it did
Stunned.
today? Yeah.
Stunned. This is a big, this is certainly an accomplishment by the Trump White House. There doesn't seem to be any question about that. When he issued that ultimatum saying all hell will break loose on Hamas if you don't come up with it, if you don't agree by Monday, we thought, oh, here we go again. Maybe it worked because we weren't expecting this today, at least. If we were going to get an announcement, it was probably going to come over the weekend. So we were pretty surprised.
All right, Conan. Thank you.
My pleasure.
And of course, this is a story we will continue to follow all night and in the coming days. Right now on our website, we have more information about the 20-point peace plan. You can also download the NBC LA app to get breaking news alerts sent directly to your phone.
We have more breaking news. Sean Combs sentenced to more than 4 years in prison. Just 3 months ago, the music mogul was convicted on 2 federal prostitution-related charges.
NBC4's McCullough Medina live in our newsroom right now with details on the judge's ruling late this afternoon. Matt.
Right. Those more than 4 years breaks down to 15 months in federal prison for Sean Diddy Combs. A judge saying the entertainer abused his power and controlled women he professed to love. The judge handed down the sentence after Combs delivered a pretty emotional statement. Here's what he said in part, saying, "My actions were disgusting, shameful, and sick. I was sick from the drugs. I was out of control. I needed help, and I didn't get that help. I have been humbled and broken to my core. I hate myself now, and I am stripped down to nothing." His defense had pushed for a far lighter sentence, no more than 14 months, arguing that Combs had changed and it should be credited with time served. Prosecutors, in contrast, had urged a sentence of more than 11 years, citing a consistent pattern of coercion, violence, and a lack of remorse, and warned against giving a high-profile abuser leniency. Attorney Gloria Allred, who represents some of Combs' alleged victims, said that they feared that he would be let out and retaliate against them for coming forward. Outside of the courtroom, she said she was relieved with the sentence.
He argued today, the defense, that he is a different man today, now that he's no longer on drugs. That may be true, but he still has to pay the consequences of what he did.
Sean Combs' children, family, and spiritual mentors all urged the judge for mercy, addressing him earlier this morning. That brought Combs to tears in many instances. Combs did not react, however, when the 15-month sentence was announced by the judge this afternoon. That sentencing brings a dramatic close to one chapter, but it may not be the end of that legal narrative. That's because appeals are expected and other civil claims remain pending. We're live in the newsroom. I'm McCullough Medina, NBC4.
All right, Mac, thank you for that. Taking you outside right now, it's a live look. From the distance, you see downtown LA. Not a cloud out there. Our meteorologist, Melissa McGee, is here now with more on how the weekend is looking.
Yes, and Colleen, we're looking forward to the weekend. Kathy, too. I know you are. I want to show you what's going on. The clouds are moving out, but still fairly windy in some spots. We've got winds in Lancaster gusting up to 35 miles per hour, 31 miles per hour as well in Oxnard, gusting up to 24 miles per hour in Riverside in the Inland Empire. Temperatures, because of that northwesterly wind, are cooler this season. 68 degrees for the basin, lower 70s for West Covina and Ontario, and 71 degrees there in Santa Clarita. There are 4 things to watch. We've got a quiet and comfortable weekend up ahead. Near average temperatures for the month of October. Hanging out this Saturday. in the 70s and 80s. Another trough of low pressure moves through. A cooler start back to work next week before numbers do moderate, but we'll worry about that then. The weekend looking fantastic with a lot of sunshine on the way. That is look at your first alert forecast. I've got more coming up in just a little bit. Kathy, back over to you.
Melissa, thank you. Coming up next at 6, we have an update on that massive fire last night at the oil refinery in El Segundo, how it could impact everything from air quality to gas prices. Plus, Christian.